Bleak, Afghanistan Outposts. U.S. troops continue on. So now, Afghanistan is to be President Obama's war, and the Pentagon is retooling its efforts here in ways it hopes will undermine a sprawling, growing insurgency. But as U.S. soldiers on the ground await reinforcements, this American operation shows that an old axiom of guerrilla warfare still applies. Where conventional armies or soldiers mass, insurgents, or whatever have you call them, usually disperse. Even the means are familiar. In the Korengal Valley, the insurgents have spotters and ridges. When the Americans send out a patrol or launch a helicopter assault, spotters relay word up and down the valley. Then they decide what, if anything, to do. So what is the way through? The United States once talked of winning here. Now it speaks more carefully of succeeding. How success will be defined remains any soldier's guess. And, just like in Iraq, what is there to win? And how will they know when they have won? How long will it take? How many more years? And at what cost? Will it be enough to ensure that Afghanistan is not a launching pad for new attacks against the United States and its allies? In other words, to ensure it is not a continuing national security threat? Or will success be declared when Afghanistan aligns with the more ambitious vision projected by the last American administration? And that plan, Afghanistan, one of the most traditional countries on earth, somehow becomes a nation remade along at least faintly Western lines. But Afghanistan is not a Western nation, never has been. It's far from it. Constant skirmishes. For that to be achieved, a far-flung and multi-ethnic population would have to accept a national idea and create a functioning government with free and fair elections, honest courts and police officers, women's rights, and a diverse economy not floated or propped up by opium poppies. And Pakistan, which harbors even more insurgents, would have to stabilize its frontiers. And this eerily sounds like Vietnam. It has similarities to the Vietnam War in some kind of ways. Instead, Pakistan is simmering, and conditions for Afghan self-sufficiency are not going to be met anytime soon. And so where the war is at its most violent, and the other side usually picks when to fight, U.S. soldiers focus on immediate things, like not getting killed or injured, and trying to take out the insurgents with whom they constantly skirmish. Each day there are patrols, weapons to clean, and watches to stand. And the difficulties of staying healthy in a very harsh place, where dogs and ravens fight over the smoldering trash pits, and flies move between chow tables and the latrine. And then there is the dwindling, as units lose members to injuries, death, or illness. But after a long combat tour, the soldiers have learned or gleaned insights valuable outside their bloody little plots, including that Afghan insurgents are often lightly armed and they are not supermen as they are often portrayed. Yes, they are usually lightly equipped. Sometimes they appear that they haven't had much to eat. Intelligence intercepts indicate that while they can coordinate their actions, they compete and quarrel with one another like anyone else. And no matter the legends of yesteryear or yesterday, their ranks are crowded with poor marksmen, a weakness that makes them less effective than they might be. Even still, the American presence is thin enough, and the Afghan and Pakistani governments weak enough, that in large areas the insurgents are both shadowy and the dominant social and military force. In these places, an American operation can feel like a thrust into air. Heavily armed soldiers are left to trudge, as outsiders in Afghanistan always have, through punishing weather and terrain. Remember, the USSR, or the Soviet Union, they occupied Afghanistan in the 1980s for a number of years. Remember the movie called Tank? Anyway, yes, they had to leave. They were not able to conquer Afghanistan or to even change it. And this has been going on for many years, decades, centuries. Many countries or nations or armies have tried to invade or occupy Iraq and Afghanistan. And Afghanistan is very rugged. It has a lot of rugged terrain. More American troops are due in Afghanistan later this year, with hopes of strengthening the government. Filling seams across the south and east where the Taliban is often unchallenged, and breaking somehow the deadlock of Afghanistan. So again, when will the United States know that it has won? And what exactly is there to win? How long will it take? These are very pertinent questions. This can't go on indefinitely. Could these wars, or this war, end up badly? It is becoming perhaps more likely day by day. And once again, everything is connected. And these are more end times, transition days, signs. There are many, many signs happening all around the world every day. Watch the news. Watch the weather change. Yes, there are many, many signs.